All right, thought our guys played with effort and enthusiasm against Cincinnati, but effort and enthusiasm without execution will deliver a failing result. Offensively, we are moving the ball, up and down the field. Great day from a yardage standpoint, but the name of the game is PPG, points per game, and turnovers are having a direct impact on the scoreboard. I thought Jimmy Williams is continuing to grow as a consistent playmaker. Also think that we're really seeing the benefit of moving James Summers to the running back position, which has helped our run game quite a bit. Defensively, we've got to tackle better. There's no question about it. The tape showed that was our biggest struggle. We also struggled generating any pass pressure, and that put a lot of stress on our coordinator to call more pressures, which puts a lot of stress on the secondary and coverage, where we dropped too many coverages, and for the most part, we were in a man game plan, which is just inexcusable, and knowing exactly what you have to do. The explosives, both run and pass, for their offense was a difference in our defense. I thought that special teams, we've continued to make long and huge strides over the past couple of weeks, and we had the emergence of Joe Carter once again, who's becoming now kind of a staple of our special teams, and we're glad to see, what he's doing and how he's trying to compete every day for this football team, kind of moving quickly into UCONN. Offensively, they're not the UConn that I remember from a few years back, where they get in 12 personnel and come down and hill at you the whole time. They've added some nice pieces to the puzzle. Noel Thomas is just a fantastic player. I think he accounts for about 60 to 70% of their offense in the passing game. I think he has 70-plus receptions, which at this time of the year is very hard to do. That's usually what guys come out of the end of the year with. But he has done a good job. I like the way he competes. He stands out on the field as much as anybody else out there. The other guy that I really like from a skill standpoint is tight end number 86. Alec Bloom doesn't have as many receptions, but if you look at his perimeter blocking, his inline blocking, he gives them something that a lot of teams would love to have. Bryant Sheriff, their quarterback, does a good job of distributing the football, but he mainly distributes the football to Noel. And it's because Noel deserves to get the football as much as he does. I really, like who he is. On defense, I think they're impact players, and excuse me if I say it the wrong way, is Folo Fadakasi. Really good football player. At this point in time, he has 2 sacks, but more than just having those sacks, he sometimes just dominates the line of scrimmage. I like what type of player he is. And Junior Joseph, another big-time impactful player that they have, and then rounding it up with Jamar Summers, who is a cornerback and who can cover. He gives a little bit of size to that position. I thought that they would be a lot bigger in their back end, which they are big at the safety position, but he gives some size to the corner position and does a good job of covering. All in all, a really good football team, but I think the X factor on their team to this point, and just watching him in as much special teams as we watch, and I hope I don't mispronounce his name, is Bobby Pujol. Really, really solid place kicker. Can do it just about from anywhere on the field. Has been a solid performer for them. Now I know they have the utmost trust in him and the way that they run their game and try to maintain a game from a defensive standpoint. Points are critical, and they've done a good job with him.
What was the most frustrating part about Saturday?
There's a few things that was frustrating. We thought we had our team in a really good spot coming into the game. The locker room was on fire. We came out and drove the ball down. The first drive was definitely a great drive to start on. You want touchdowns there, and one of the frustrating things about it is that we didn't get a touchdown there. And then when we came back out of the locker room at halftime, we were on fire again, and we've done that before. The most frustrating time in the game is when you realize that you have a penalty to negate an interception for the second week in a row. As a coach, that's very frustrating, especially when you have guys try to do exactly what you coach them to do. Very, very telling time in the game was that time. All the pressure that we weren't able to put on the quarterback, you want to be able to get that done. All the runs that they made, and we missed tackles, 1, 2, and 3 tackles sometimes in one situation. You want to get that fixed, but to have those back-to-back weeks where we have interceptions that turn into big plays on returns get the ball into the strike zone on both of them, and that not happen. That was a big problem, a big situation of frustration for us. And then to the final point of it all, was the two things that kind of ended the game, or three things that ended the game. The fumble going into the red zone was heartbreaking for a lot of reasons. We kind of moved Anthony into a backup role, and James needed a spell, and James comes out, and Anthony had did a good job of running the football for us in practice, and he's been working so hard in practice on taking care of the ball. He even double arm wrapped the ball that he fumbled before he hit the ground. For that kid is very hurtful that happened. He fumbled the ball going in the red zone once again. He had a fumble early in the game where our team rallied around him and said, "We believe in you," and they wanted him in the game, and the coaches and everybody, I wanted him in the game after that. He had tremendous energy on the sideline after that, didn't put his head down, went right back to work, and for it to end like that for him, that was tough. The next deal is if we had 4th and 1, and I'm going to go for that every single time the rest of my career as a coach. When you're that close and you're driving, and we had a 4th and 1, and we didn't get it done. I've had a chance to look at it now. I don't care to speak about it, but that was a 4th and 1 that should have been an easy pickup. And then come back, I used my timeouts and calculated that we're going to get the ball back right around 2 minutes if I will use those timeouts correctly. And we used them correctly, and we get it to a 3rd down, and we have man-to-man coverage, and they score a touchdown on us in that 3rd down situation, which it just stopped the ability for us at that point in time to win the football game. It did not lose the game. It just stopped us from winning it. And with 2 scores and no timeouts in a 2-minute situation. So those were some of the frustrations that went into it.
Coach, you mentioned Anthony Scott's struggles with holding on to the ball. How do you handle that going forward? Is there a point where you say you have to sit him, or what do you do?
Yeah, right now, what you're going to see is you're going to see Sean Furlow. We're going to give Sean Furlow a chance. We've wanted to give Sean some chances moving up until this point because of some of the situations we've had with ball security. Unfortunately, until this time, Sean hadn't been quite ready. We would also like to give Darrell Scott an opportunity. Unfortunately, he's hurt. He has a hamstring he's had now for about a week or so. So those two things combined, we're going to give Sean Furlow a chance. We're going to keep Anthony Scott with us. We're going to need him. We know there's going to be somewhere in the season that we're going to need him. But right now, it's that time that we're going to move to. We're going to move to seeing a little bit more of Sean Furlow and Devin and James.
What were some of Sean's maybe limitations early on or in camp that competitively kept him out of the race until now?
Well, physically, Sean has been great. Sean struggled a little bit just from picking up the playbook and all the nuances that came in, where Anthony probably grabbed it as quickly as anybody else, and he did a good job of understanding it from day one. Now Sean has got to a point where he's knowing more, he's doing more. So it's his opportunity, his time. Look forward to seeing him. And the biggest thing though is the football is more important than anything. And if a guy can protect the football, that's half the battle. I mean, how many games have we been in at this point in time if we just take care of the football? That I wouldn't be standing up here feeling the way that I feel in a 5-game losing streak, and I accept it, and I accept the responsibility that goes with it. And this is one of those things where you have to accept the responsibility, and we're going to give Sean Furlow the opportunity. And the reason why I come in here is because I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. I enjoy coaching young men, and it's hard for me to tell guys that they have to, right now we're moving on in another direction, or right now you're not going to be the guy to carry it, but it's the responsibility of the head football coach to do that.
Coach, I know you can't say too much about officials, but when you saw the interception, did you see the pass interference? I think they caught on a guy who wasn't even on the field. Did you see anything?
I saw a guy catch the football, and I saw him cross our 40, and then I saw the flag. So all those things combined, that's what I saw.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Did you get any explanation from the officials at that time?
I did not get an explanation besides the fact that he felt like he impeded him and that it was a blatant pass interference.
And talking about the receiver, that was the intended receiver. Is that what he was talking about? Because I'm still trying to figure out. I didn't see anything.
I will have a little bit better understanding of the situation here in a couple hours. Okay. But I thought that was a critical, play not only in the game, but we can't keep having those type of situations that show up because our kids are right in the middle of it. And if you notice what happened, they came right back at our kid because they knew that he was going to be fatigued. They knew that he was going to be down, and that's the way games go. And I also think that you have to be very careful when you get in a situation. You can take you can take his energy and enthusiasm about the way he played that. I don't think I've seen a guy play a slant route as clean as that, catch the ball as clean with that, and then finish the play as cleanly as he finished it. So, that's what I saw. I've been a little bit animated about some of the calls. I would apologize about some of that, but I believe in what I believe. That's my passion. That's my intensity in standing with our players.
Coach, how are the guys handling the 5-game losing streak? I mean, how is their morale and attitude?
It's tough, but these guys are competitive. I mean, they see what we see. They see what you see. They see the tape. They come in. They question things that happen to them at times. They also know that we're going to have to take it out of that type of situation. If we play good football, you don't have to worry about that. We don't turn the football over. We're not talking about that. If we hold coverage, we're not talking about that. So this hasn't been a season where guys would say, well, we should be doing this or we should be doing that, because everything is right on tape. It's been really odd, to see some of the things that you've seen to be so clearly visible on tape. Usually it's, okay, what happened on this first down or this second down or this third down? Could we have done this? Could we have done that better? Our mistakes, for the most part, has either been physical or been situations where we just didn't execute what we knew to execute, and our guys have accepted responsibility for that. But the next thing is not just accepting responsibility, it's making sure it doesn't happen again. And if we got to make personnel changes like we're doing now to help them, then we will continue to do that.
What kind of things do you have to do to keep the confidence of the players up and let them realize that it was very close and you guys have played well at points? What's the psychology that goes into keeping their confidence and morale up?
This is big person football. This isn't small-minded football. This is competing at the highest level. If you can't do that and you can't be consistent doing that, then you're not going to be accountable anyway. Our people know that. Also, our leadership on the team knows that our young players feel like they're making some plays. And, sometimes the older players are the ones that lose confidence most because the younger players are not smart enough to be, to lose confidence in some of those situations. And the biggest deal that we're doing right now is making sure we work on our leadership and our seniors and making sure they remain confident in what they're doing, because some guys are grading out as high as they could have ever graded out any time. But that doesn't matter when it comes down to a situation where there's a turnover or there's a drop coverage or there's a missed tackle. Those things don't matter. So we got to make sure that their confidence remains in each other and not just in themselves. I think a lot of guys have a lot of confidence in themselves, but we got to make sure that the confidence goes from seat to seat and chair to chair.
In terms of goals you set at the beginning of the season, have those goals changed at this point with the losing streak?
I know if you've ever heard me say anything, I never put a number on wins. I never put an expectation. My expectation is to be the best that we can be. Right now, in my opinion, we have not done that. My goals would never change. They're not going to change. I'm never going to buckle and say we're going to cover this up and we're just going to, this is what we'll do. We'll allow this to happen and then we're going to fix this. No, that's not what we're going to do. The standard is the standard. And our standard is to win all the time in everything we do. Unfortunately, we haven't won on Saturdays, and that's something that's directly connected to what we've done throughout the week. So we got to continue to grow there, but our standards won't change.
Coach, do you feel like you just need a win to get the ball rolling and get the confidence going? Because like you said, you're playing well enough to win, just eliminating the mistakes.
Yes, there's no question about it. Winning solves so much more than anybody would know. And I think everybody that was in the Cincinnati, in the stadium, when we had the ball driving there with about 7 to 8 minutes, I think everybody in there knew what was about to happen. But the exact moment when the ball hit the ground, everybody reverted to, that gasp that comes out. And not only was it a gasp, but it was also connected to the person that it happened to. And then putting our defense on the field again in a situation where, for a few weeks now, we've had X plays to stop the ability to win, only after something didn't happen quite the right way offensively. So we have to look at that and we have to pay close attention to it. And a win would help and solve a lot of that.
Coach, you talked about the running back changes. Are there some changes on the defensive line or linebackers that you could make to try to get some, not only sacks, but get some pressure?
You know, we're trying. Our personnel is our personnel. I think our coaches are working as hard as they can with our personnel right now. I think they'll continue to grow. I think we will get better. I think there are a couple of things that we're going to change at a linebacker position that will help us maybe not only just generate, sacks. I'm more concerned about tackling when we need to tackle. Tackles for losses are great. Sacks are great. But 2-yard gain tackles are more important throughout the entirety of a game. And unfortunately, that's not what happened in this game. We were at the point several times in the South Florida game where we had guys in the backfield eyed up to get guys on the ground, and we did not get them on the ground. So the first thing we got to do is think about getting people in there that can get people on the ground. The next portion of it is our defensive front trying to find ways to generate more of a pass rush. We got to be able to do it with people more than calls, because those calls are stressful. I got a 19-year-old out at corner right now who's playing as hard as he can play. But when he's in coverage for 3.2, 3.3 seconds, that's a long time. People don't understand. Before that ball comes out and it's 3.2, 3.3, that's a long, long time to be covering. So all those things combined, we're going to continue to work inside the personnel that we have. This isn't the NFL. It's no free agency where you can go sign guys. It's our job to get the guys that we have here better, and that's what we will do.
In terms of in the locker room after Cincinnati, do you notice any players trying to give, pep talks or anything like that?
Yes.
I know certain people try to step up and do that.
Yes. I mean, I thought that, our quarterback was great. Several members from our defense was great. Cam was great. I think there's a lot of guys that from day one have done what we asked them to do, and they understand that the standards that we're asking them to do is going to help them not only this year, but next year and the years to come. And I think that we've had guys to do a good job of pointing out, the lack of detail, if it ever occurred, that some of the coaches don't know about. And when that happens, that's always great for the team.